examples.
No need for you to know.
So I was kidding. We're not actually graphing them. We're just going to modify all these instructions to basically be the same instructions where we're just going to find amplitude, period, frequency, and shifts if they're applicable and reflected, like all that stuff.
We've
So,
already done something similar to this, right?
yeah, we did it last year.
There was our April Fool's joke.
Yes, there was your April Fool's joke. Just kidding.
A week later.
I'm really upset with the sophomores. It wasn't good.
I know.
It just
What
didn't
wasn't
work.
good?
They're
Oh,
April
you were
Fools
so
Late.
correct.
Correct.
It's okay. I have a while before I'll try to pull that one off again because April Fool's is going to be on a weekend for the next 2 years. So,
That's sad.
but it's good because then they won't expect it.
The next class will have no clue what's going on.
All right. So y equals 2/3 sine of x. So, actually, we're just going to do. For right now, we're just doing amplitude and period.
Yeah.
Frequency will get added in later with something else. All right. So
2/3.
A.
That is so nice. That's my favorite right there.
then the period is
I don't like this one.
2 pi over b.
What's 2 pi over x?
There's
No,
no,
one.
so b is just
One.
whatever's in front, so it's just 2 pi.
2 pi. That is right. 2 pi over
2 pi over 1,
Is
so 2
amplitude
pi.
always the thing in front? Like in front of sine?
It's whatever's touching sine, yeah. Well, I was going to say, I don't want to say, like, that it's completely in front, because there's a problem that I gave the sophomores. It was, like, -3 plus 2 sine x, or something like that, and that's not, like, it wouldn't be -3. Like, that wouldn't be your amplitude. Yeah, it would be 2. So just, like, be aware of that, because it threw them off, which I did intentionally so that they wouldn't make that mistake on a quiz or a test, but they were confused, so. So I was like, I hesitate to say yes, but yes. Come on, what is going on? There we go. All right, 6. Y equals -2.34 sine of x. So amplitude is,
2.34.
okay, it's 2.34 because it's the absolute value of that, so that means it's got to be positive. Period is,
2 pi. If I went to column right.
and what is the only other thing that we know about this?
It's reflected.
It's reflected.
Yeah.
Good job, Smariel.
One of these days I'm just gonna throw you out.
Throw me out a window. Sounds
I
like
did not
murder.
expect you to say that.
Well, I did, because she's sorry.
Murder.
All right, so we're still going to find amplitude and period. If any of the other things apply, then we'll do that. There's going to be like one section that actually specifically says something about frequency, and so then we'll do frequency with those ones. But otherwise, I mean, if you want to do it, it's not like it's hard. It's just 1
It's
over
literally
2
the
pi, so
opposite of,
yeah.
the period.
All right, y equals the cosine of x over 5.
Very good. Did you not
Okay, now with this, just to help you visualize it, if you like just need it like to be consistent across the board, you can also think about this as the cosine of 1/5 x, if that helps you to like see the b value. I know sometimes it's like easy to get confused if it's like x over a number, but it just means like 1/5 times x. So if you're good with how it's written in the book, that's fine, but if you prefer to see it the way that like consistency has been throughout, then you can rewrite it like I did in red. So amplitude,
1.
1, period.
2 pi over 1/5.
So 2 pi over 1/5. If I divide by a fraction, it's the same as, okay, so multiply by the reciprocal. So that's going to be 5 times 2 pi, which is 10 pi. And nothing else applies to that one.
Yeah, that's because these ones are actually size up.
Oh, they don't look that big.
No, but
I'm little.
they look bigger than your normal feet.
Yeah, that's because it is a size up.
All right, 12, y equals 1/4 cosine of 2/3 x. Or they might actually write it as 2x over 3, but I'm just going to write it as 2/3 x. Cause
Amplitude is 1/4.
amplitude equals 1/4.
Period equals 2 pi over 2/3.
Just sized out ones.
Which gives you
3 pi.
Yep, 2 pi times 3 halves, which is 3 pi.
Good news. I can do basic algebra.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lamb.
Yeah.
All right, so these next ones say amplitude, period, and frequency.
Okay.
Like specifically in the instructions, like yes, there's a lot of other like fluff instructions that they give you, but that's what I want. If any of the other things apply, like reflected, shifted, whatever, tell me that as well. But
We currently haven't had any to help us.
I just realized Miss Marshall's gonna see the note on her desk about how.
No wonder she was in such a good mood when I walked in there.
That's funny.
That would be why she said
Basically,
hello.
she left Miss Daniel left a note of all
told
the
me
things
about
that like
that.
we wouldn't do. So like Ariel and Hope left, and then I started crying in the middle of class.
Alyssa FaceTimed
Alyssa
Trevor.
FaceTimed Trevor. She like left us a list of all these things that we did, but like we wouldn't actually.
We're gonna
do.
get smacked.
For April Fools. It was so funny.
oh, I was like, what?
Yeah.
All right, 14. Y equals 2 cosine of x over 3. So amplitude,
2. I mean, yes.
period,
2 pi over 1/3.
which is
I
6
haven't
pi.
even read the
6
amplitude
pi.
yet.
6 pi?
What?
6 pi. Frequency,
I don't even know what that is.
It's the opposite of periods.
So
you
it's
have
1/3 over 2
1/3
pi.
over 2 pi.
which is what?
2 pi over 3. That's a lie.
So
6
this
pi.
is 1/3 times,
1 over
this
6
is technically
pi.
on the bottom, so it's 1 over 2 pi, which is going to be 1 over 6 pi.
So can you just flip it? No. Never mind.
Flipping it would not
like,
work.
can you always just like add a 1 on top of whatever the period is? Or did it just happen to be that way this time?
A lot of the time that will work, but not always. I don't think.
Okay.
Because if it had something like.
Because if it wasn't a fraction, I'm not sure that it would come out the same way.
If it had 5 over 3, then it would be 5 over.
Yeah, it might not, just because of the way that, if it was like a whole number, it might not do that.
1 over something?
But
I'm convinced that we were not going for a whole week.
I agree.
My kid thought.
I wish we had a half day on Friday. Just Easter.
Yeah, why don't we get half this?
I don't,
That's
It-
like
okay,
Catholic gets
basically,
it off.
What used to happen,
it's Good
yeah,
Friday.
a lot of people do. What used to happen is we'd have spring break right after Easter, so we'd get a half day on Friday.
It's our spring break, so that's why we get
yeah, well that, or like if Easter's early, then a lot of times we get the day. But since it's right after spring break, I think that's why they didn't. But like, I also don't understand, because a lot of schools, like Catherine's school did spring break this week,
A
and
lot of
like
schools do that.
most of like my cousin's school in Louisiana, like they all did it this, like, I don't know.
We'll have it this week.
It's always like a 2-week span, and we got the first one, but then my mom and I were talking, like, it's probably because if we did it this week, like, we would come back and have basically no time before exams. Like, so it makes it breaks it up a little bit better to have it, like, the week early, because
How many full
Easter's
weeks?
just really
We
late
only
this
have
year.
6 full weeks left, and then.
Do we really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's amazeballs.
What?
Next
Next Wednesday. Yeah, so we get
get
this
weeks off in a
Wednesday's
row.
the zoo, then next Wednesday we get off because it's National
That is
Holiday.
so nice.
It is nice. Or 4. Period is.
What were you going to say?
I don't
You're like,
know,
next
2
4? I don't know.
pi over
2/3. Right?
Chiz.
3 pi.
Oh, we have already done this one, haven't we?
And it's reflected.
Frequency.
Oh, frequency, sorry.
But yes, it is reflected. Frequency is 2/3 over 2 pi.
I don't understand.
It's 3 pi. 1 over 3 pi.
Alright.
That's
So
why
see,
it
that
works.
one worked out again that way. But I'm like, if it was like 3x up there, I'm not sure that it would work out the exact same way. It might. It would probably flip it, but it wouldn't. Well, I know it would flip it, but it wouldn't be 1 over whatever. So. Or, well, I guess technically it would be, but.
Yeah, my handwriting is kind of suffering on this because I haven't written on it for over a week.
All right, the next ones do not need frequency. The only ones that needed frequency are 13 through 16. Just FYI. All the rest of them don't need frequency. All right, so then with the next one, still just tell me information. I'm gonna skip a lot of the ones that are just like 20 is just y equals -2 cosine x. I feel like y'all get amplitude and period. I probably don't need to keep doing those. Let's go to something harder. Okay, the next ones then add in the aspect of having to tell
Up, down, left, right.
up, down, left, right, all that good stuff. So that's all you need to do. You don't have to graph it, obviously.
Thank you. I hate trapping.
We've already talked about this.
62!
They're all traveling back from Kentucky. Yeah, we jumped a little bit. This whole section is literally just graph 2 full cycles, graph 3 full cycles. It doesn't make sense. That's why I'm just skip some of it.
Skip. That's frustrating.
Just, whatever. 62. Y equals -3.5 sine of 2x minus pi over 2 minus 1.
Are we still doing
So
sine and-
I still want amplitude and period, and then I want the shifts that are happening.
Okay, so amplitude is 3.5. 3.5. Period is 2 pi over 2, right?
So pi.
Wait, how do you know it's 2 pi?
Because the
Oh.
and
Two's
it's
in front of the
looking
x.
at x. And then it's reflected.
Frequency. Oh, we're not doing frequency.
I forgot to write -1. That actually could change things.
Okay. It
So then-
shifts right.
Right pi over 2.
Down 1.
Down 1.
In your book, if it does do any of this in writing, it's going to be a vertical shift of blah, 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 blah.
No one cares.
Don't care. Just tell me up, down, left, right.
See? Why
Horizontal and vertical get way too confusing. It's just and people end up getting it wrong just because they don't know what the words mean. So it's just say up, down, left, right. Just easier. Okay.
Is
64.
Maddie missing your match today?
Huh?
Is Maddie missing the match today?
And tomorrow.
Why tomorrow?
Because she has to do something for her job
Yeah.
at Bush. She has to. She's getting trained that day or something.
Yeah, it was the only day they would let her do it.
Which is weird because I was talking to my dad because she has to miss school for that. She has to miss chemistry, right? So Busch Gardens can't legally force someone to miss school for their job.
Yeah, but they're I think let me back up. A lot of public schools in our area get out earlier than we do. So that's part of it. And then 2, they probably had other training days, but they were all days that we had stuff for tennis already. So she said that was basically the only day that worked or whatever for all involved parties or something. I don't know. But
Okay, got this.
go for it.
Amplitude is 3.
Okay.
Period is 2 pi, because it's 2 pi over 1. Then you don't have to write reflected because it's not reflected. And it's left 3, down 2.
Good job, Mary.
Yeah, Ariel,
Good job.
girl.
I can do it when I can.
Mariel.
It's never. Except for right now.
All right, one more, and then we'll be done.
Alright.
And then I'll let tomorrow be a work day,
Thank you.
because I had planned for this section to take 2 days, and here we are. So.
Because we're just on top of it today, I guess.
Well, and that way, if we needed to do stuff with eggs tomorrow, too, if
Probably
we
will.
need to get that, we can.
Also, we have, I think, an anatomy test on next Tuesday, chemistry test.
Well, hey, wait, that means we probably won't have one
I'll
that
have to
Thursday.
take my chemistry test early.
Why?
That sucks. I'm going camping. Well, if my dad's in town, he might not be, so.
Wait, are you coming for a week of prayer still though?
Yeah, I'll do my part and then I'll leave after that.
Because, someone said they can switch with you if you need.
Okay, amplitude is 4. Period is
2 pi over 3 pi. So it's 2/3. And then down 2.
Down 2.
I was seeing if I was gonna trick you.
Well, at first I was like, you forgot the parentheses, but then I was like, I'm being stupid.
Yeah, because well, and that's why I was like, oh, we probably are good. We probably could stop. But then I was like, no, I want to do this one because that was something that like I got the sophomores on. Like obviously y'all have done this stuff before, so it's like I'm not as likely to trick you as I am with them. But like they were like, oh, it's right too, and I was like, it's not in the parentheses. Like it's not. If there's not a parentheses, like it's up and down. So, anyways,
Wait, I need to pull up my
Homework.
And this is not due till Wednesday.
correct. So like if you want to do it now, that's fine. I mean, you probably won't finish it, but there's like 10
You wrote
minutes
that
left.
really fast.
But these two are the only two that need to have frequency with them. The rest of them are just regular. So.
I love that we go to 27